Mm-hmm.
All right, but that's too early if we're still on remove roadblocks.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's the thing. So if I use that theology,
what if I supplant? What if?
can we back it up just a hair?
Yeah. Let's get it right.
Let me think through this for a second.
So, I mean, would gain perspective be more like surveying the land?
Yes.
Seeing what's there.
Yeah. So if I do survey, blueprint development,
location.
Yep. Location. What do you call it? I'll call it specs, but specs are simply all of your finishes. Like you're already considering all the finishes, all the things you want, flooring, the windows, the whatever. Engineering. We could tie engineering back to mentorship.
Yeah, and if you're building a home, I mean, location could really blow up to, considering school districts and where you want to raise a family and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then you got the flood. Is it in a floodplain?
Yeah.
Or fire hazard? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That could definitely be game perspective. That works as well. I do like it. I do like game perspective for continuing to dig the footing as well, but we might have to tie that back into it. Whereas removing roadblocks would actually be clearing the land.
Yeah. Permits.
Yeah, permits. Septic locations. Wells, where you're gonna put your well at, because you can't put your septic on top of your well. Or your water, whatever your water system is. I had to move my house forward because of the floodplain. So basically all of G's are all the things that should be considered. And then R's is everything that's standing in your way. Now, if I was going to do gain perspective by itself, it's going to be, where am I today? What's my desired outcome? What are my current motivations? Like, why am I wanting this and whatnot? What questions, the quality questions, what questions am I asking myself? What are my cornerstone characters in my story? My family members, the villains and the things I mentioned earlier, villains and heroes, not villains and heroes, villains, guides, henchmen. What are the cornerstone moments? What are the major parts of your original narrative and screenplay? You know what I'm saying? So like for me, my grandmother dying was a cornerstone moment. Life was never the same after that. Never, ever the same after that. Right. I was forever altered. My parents got a divorce, forever altered. The day I met Karen and the day I met Karen and we'll say the day I married Karen, for example, my day has it's been beautiful. You know what I'm saying? That's a cornerstone moment. It could be good and or bad, but you have to identify them. So that's all in game perspective.
Yeah.
And then you're looking for stuff you need to deconstruct and remove and all that kind of stuff. And then on the roadblock side, you're looking for specifically, you're looking for triggers and tendencies and personality attributes that you're not happy with. Like I think I mentioned to you before, I was a complete jerk before I ever heard about DISC. I was a complete doofus. I just didn't know.
Right.
I thought I was supposed to lead how I was taught to lead. And unfortunately, in the environment that I grew up in, my father's next wife was a lot more domineering and controlling. So I was constantly rebelling against that. And then so at my worst, when I'm tired and exhausted and hungry and stuff like that, I can be very defensive when challenged. Ready to go. Let's go. Got my sword, got my spear. Let's go. So, all of this recognizing roadblocks or removing roadblock stuff fits right there. Organizing a plan. Now keep in mind.
Hang on, do me a favor. I already took a screenshot of that GNR. So can you start a new page?
Yeah.
Does Apple Notes let you start like add pages? I don't know. I've never used Notes before.
Yeah, I guess I could.
It's fine. I've got it. I'm looking at what you just did.
Okay. So organizing a plan. Okay. because we still haven't really started construction yet. So, I like this better. I like the way this is going better. I'm going to get my blueprints drawn. Like what? Sorry, it's not letting me write well. What is it I want to build? Is it a modern house? Is it a contemporary house? Is it a traditional house? Like, what is it?
Right.
Does it have a big front porch? Does it whatever? All of that stuff is going to come into play here. And then you got engineering itself, like actually engineering the structures and the foundational components that go into it. So your footing has to be this thick. You have to have a 2x6 wall versus a 2x4 wall because it's this tall and it's got this many windows in it, right? You have to go and shop all your vendors. I need to know how much it's going to cost me to put the foundation in, how much it's going to cost me to have the house framed, how much it's going to cost me for my windows and my electrical, my plumbing and my HVAC and my insulation and my sheetrock and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What is that old terminology that's in the Bible about not starting a project till you know the cost?
Count the cost, consider the cost.
Yeah, so that kind of scenario. So it's maybe laying out expectations.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Adding color. Adding color and vibrance to this. Mm-hmm. So in life, it would be like, it's not just, I want to make more money. It's, I want to make more money and I want to do it in this time frame, in this methodology. So then I can travel more. And then I would typically have somebody explain to me what that looks like. Explain to me what it would like. Well, where's the place in the world you want to go? I want to go to Cabo Wabo. Awesome. Have you ever been there? Well, no, I haven't. Why do you want to go? Well, because I think the water is beautiful and stuff like that. All right, cool. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to describe the beach and maybe the place you're staying at in detail. What do you see? What do you hear? What are you smelling in the air? Right? All that stuff is adding color and clarity to, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It might translate to a vision board. Stuff like that. So that's your kind of organizing a plan. Yep. Fantastic. That means we can actually start to build. Sorry, I got hung up on the whole plans thing. I had to pivot.
No, it's fine. I think this works better. Although I do like the footing stuff and the foundation and all that. So how can we overlay that? Is that part of work? If you just kind of outline the different stages of building?
If we're going to outline the different stages of building, yes. Technically, the excavation might best fit in the removing roadblocks because those are actual things that are standing in your way. Yeah. I do think that if you're overlaying life and building a home, for example, or building any building, for example, two things. First of all, the size of your foundation determines how big you can build. Mm-hmm. So if you don't spend a lot of time really laying out the groundwork for your foundation, you're not going to be able to build a very big home or building or whatever. Second of all, as you're building, you're constantly looking at things and measuring and adjusting, making sure that, if you have a bad trade is let's say the electrician he's not showing up on time. He's not doing his part. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, then you're probably going to have to replace that electrician. Well, how does that look like in life? Well, maybe I keep getting defensive, even though I know better, even though I've identified I got to stop being defensive, but I keep doing it. Okay, great. I know that keeps happening. What do I have to change? So I think there's elements of it where there's constant evaluation going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, even now, I can't just sit here and say, okay, I've got the set of plans. I've hired all the contractors. Okay, the house is going to build itself. I'm constantly having to check the schedule. I'm constantly having to call the vendors, especially if they didn't show up. I'm like, where are you at? What's going on? How's your mom and them? Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. We've kind of talked about grow as a step 1, 2, 3, 4 into eternity. Mm-hmm. But the way you're describing it now sounds like, you go through this process, but then you're kind of always, regaining perspective. You're always, eliminating new roadblocks.
Yeah.
So is this